talk some more while I get this slideshow going here. Here's the deal.
Well, I just find it interesting that somebody like Drive here in the chat says that we're following the Chille cult. And I asked what crime was committed, and the response is the crime is in the court filings. This isn't hard. If you have I don't care what law you're talking about. Let me give you an example of how ridiculous law is. Back in April of 1920, they decided to make a law, and that law was the Prohibition law. And then they made an amendment to support that law. So that means at 11:59, before Prohibition went into effect, you could buy, you could sell, you could trade, you could transport alcohol. When the clock struck 12, automatically, somehow, magically, through the legislative pixie dust of some kind of edict from Washington's District of Criminals, you became a criminal. Now, you didn't even move from 11:59 to 12 o'clock. You were still on your couch, but somehow you got transformed into a dastardly criminal who deserves to go to jail if you have alcohol in your cabinets. If you're driving down the street at 12:01 with alcohol in your car, you are a criminal and you are subject to my jurisdiction, and I can throw you into jail. Now, if you believe that, then you are in a cult, because that's all it is a belief. It's not a reality. The person didn't really become a criminal. He only became a criminal on paper at 12 o'clock when the clock struck midnight. He wasn't truly a criminal. Why wasn't he a criminal? Because he didn't lift his hand to harm anybody. He didn't threaten to harm anybody. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't damage somebody's property. He didn't steal property. He just was in possession of something that he was in possession of a minute ago. And the only reason there's a criminal right now is because 535 people, or how many people voted Prohibition into effect, voted you out of a right to have alcohol. That's not a criminal. So when a judge tells me, or a bailiff tells me, or a cop arrests me for interference, when all I'm doing is holding a camera and calling them a name that they don't like, and the result is now I'm in jail for 180 days, you have to be in a cult, believing the death cult of government, to believe that is in any way legitimate. Because we have Houston versus Hill, which says what Chille's doing is perfectly fine. And people are like, oh, he didn't go to jail because he had a camera in his hand. He didn't go to jail because he called the cop a little doggy. He didn't go to jail because he called the bailiff a pig and and hurt Ann Zimmerman's feelings. If you are honest with yourself, if you are an honest human being with a heart beating in your chest and blood coursing through your veins, you have got to know, if you take an objective, as unbiased as a human being can be, look at this thing, you know that what was done to Chille was wrong. He shouldn't be 18 minutes in jail, let alone 180 days or 18 days or whatever it's going to end up being. So when somebody tells me that I'm in a cult and Chille bought a leash and Brian's dangling at the end of that leash, I find it laughable, because in the face of what you're basically looking at the edict of a judge as holy writ, as though it were written in stone tablets on Mount Sinai, and Moses came down with radiant face. It's just laughable that anybody would take such a religious position and then dare lift their bony fingers and point it at somebody else, saying they're in a cult. So you can engage in all the ad hominems that you want to engage in. The fact is the fact. You are not a criminal because another group of men claims that you are. You can only be a criminal if you committed a criminal act. And that can only happen if you leave a real, material, human being victim. That didn't happen.
A corpus delicti.
Yeah, that didn't happen in Chille's case. It didn't happen in Flex Your Freedom's case, Texas Sheepdog's case, or Hendry's case. There was no victim. So they want you to believe, because that's all it is. That's all government is. Look at this. Governo and mentis. It's right here on my shirt. You want to make it easy? Here you go. Governo and mentis. Governo means to govern or control. Mentis means the mind. It means to control the mind. The government agencies are nothing more than psychological operations, government mind control operations. They are controlling your mind. How do I know? Because you're actually believing that Chille committed the crime of interference with a public official and resisting arrest. In the real world, you know what that resisting arrest is called? It's called self-defense. and everybody, and the only reason you don't believe it's self-defense, all of you people who are drinking the government Kool-Aid, is because you see a badge and you actually believe that priestly garment, that religious garment that they're wearing with that tin badge that makes it look so authoritative, is somehow real. You've got to unplug from the matrix, and you got to understand what the truth really is and ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Why is the government constantly involved in term redefining? Hey, Mike, I gotta head out, and I've got to get ready for Chille's.
You're killing me right now. You stopped off at term redefining, and I almost had a heart attack because because that's what they're doing with AR-15s and
exactly.
I don't really care about the followers and all that stuff. I mean, that wasn't my intention in getting involved in all this.
I do. I care about the followers and the views. I want a lot of followers, and I want a lot of views, and you do too. And I'll tell you why, because we have a message that, if internalized, can literally revolutionize and change this world and keep innocent people from going to jail. Judge Ann Zimmerman had a golden opportunity to deflect everything that offended her and just go, Chille, I tell you what, I can tell that you don't like me and you think I'm a tyrant. And, in some ways I can understand why you would think that, but I am here to dispense justice. Ann Zimmerman should have said, while you've kind of offended me deeply, and I don't like the fact that you called my court marshals pigs, I can't see any reason to continue on with this case. The case is dismissed. There was no lawful order. If she was honest, she would say this. There was no lawful order. There's no 21-foot rule like Bork learned in the academy. Bork lied on the stand 3 times. It's like everybody's just, all the objective stuff, people are just shoving under the rug, and it's this big mound with this big sperm whale wiggling under it, and everybody sees it happening, but nobody wants to talk about it. So Zimmerman should have said no lawful commands were issued. Bork lied 3 times. There's no 21-foot rule. You obeyed the 2 commands you didn't have to obey. You could have still talked to the driver if you wanted to. And under the First Amendment, you could have continued, berating the cop if you wanted to. And officer safety will never trump individual rights, common rights. But Ann Zimmerman didn't say that. You know why? Because she couldn't say that. She doesn't have the maturity level. She doesn't have the spiritual awareness. She doesn't have the light, the heart of light. She has a heart of darkness. So she's in a vortex. She's in an evil, tyrannical vortex. She had to make the decision that she did to put an innocent man behind bars because she has the ring of power. And power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it had to come out of there because it's in her. It would have never come out, and Chille wouldn't be serving 180 days right now if the darkness wasn't inside of Ann Zimmerman. Because objectively speaking, there wasn't a law. There weren't lawful orders. Bork did lie on the stand. There is no Supreme Court case law that Chille violated. There is no law that came out of Washington's District of Criminals. There's no Nevada state law. There's not even a statute or an ordinance against what he did. And yet he went to jail anyway. And she's supposed to be a dispenser of justice. Imagine that. Imagine a person who calls themselves a justice. They call themselves a judge, a doer of what is right, a discerner of the population, a punisher of wrong and a rewarder of right. Imagine that person making a decidedly wrong, evil, misguided, non-substantiated decision to put a man in a cage for no frickin' reason. Chille will appeal. He has another lawyer. This next lawyer is a high-powered lawyer, supposedly with a great track record and kind of a bent toward civil rights. And he's going to cost more money. And that's why we're doing this drive, because it's going to cost him $25,000. Now, Michael Me, if you're watching this, you should give Chille his money back. You did him wrong. Anybody who knows anything about doing what is right could have easily torn up Bork on the stand. And all you had to do was submit Chille's video and put Chille's video and the video that was shown to the court side by side. All you had to do was just a little bit of editing homework. You could have had somebody else do it. You could have done what I did. Look, you could have done this right here. This was so simple to do.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
That's a lie. Did he follow your order? Watch, we're going to see cops lie. Video cameras don't. Okay, so the prosecution is asking Officer Bork, who is out there getting his feelings hurt by Chille, when you asked him to back up, did he back up?
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Look, he's backing up.
I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
Look, let me show you. Here's before the command. He's inside, his right foot is almost completely inside that white line. And then after he was told to back up, that if Chille's shoe size is anywhere near 12 inches, you take 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches. He's at least 3 feet back from where he was. He did back up. 3 times Bork said he didn't back up. And then when he was questioned lightly by Michael Mead, he goes, well, he didn't back up 0 feet. He just didn't back up enough. And then he said again that he didn't back up. So which one is it? Did he back up a little bit or did he not back up at all? Because there's a difference. When you got a guy who's willing to lie on the stand about something that can be 100% verified on the stand through video evidence, you've got a witness that the case is thrown, the case is blown at that point. Michael Mee should have got on top of his desk and said, Judge, he lied. The world is going to see that he lied, and the world is going to see that you saw that he lied, and you still put a guy in jail. That's what Michael Mee should have done. His forehead should have been moist with sweat. He should have been taking off his jacket with moisture under his armpits. Breathing fire if you had to. But you can't tolerate this. Judge, do you realize how unjust it is for this man, this Bork, Officer Bork, to take the stand with some man's life in his hands, contingent on his testimony, whether he's going to tell the truth or lie, and he chooses to lie in the face of freaking video evidence? Let me show you something, Judge. And this is all Michael Mee. This is why I'm so incensed at Michael Mee. All he had to do was this right here. Watch. I'm just going to play it over. And I'll try to zip my freaking lip. Watch this.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay.
I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
Okay. And did he obey those orders?
No, he did not.
I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel.
So you already are.
Great.
You already are. He's a pig.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay.
Is that true? Isn't it true? The guy did not have to take his cell phone like that, but he knows he has the power and he knows Chille can't resist his power because as soon as he does, they're going to dogpile him. They know they got the power. And it's not even so much that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but power does draw and attract like a freaking magnet, the corruptible. If you're corruptible, you want the ring of power. If you're humble, and you have a golden character, you don't want power over other people. Like, why would you have it? You're not going to wield it. But wait, there's more.
So I'm not going to permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. He wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today.
What an accusation. Do you have... This is a judge who's supposed to be judging impartially, and she's judging the motive. She couldn't possibly know the motive of why Chille does what he does. Could he be doing this for views? Could he be doing this for his YouTube channel? Possibly. Does she know that? For sure. It's not her place to even be saying anything like this. You had one job, Judge. Do what is right. Judge what is just. Discern between right and wrong and pick the right every single time. And don't let your feelings get in the way, because as soon as you do, you lose the plot.
He called me, and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States. All right. Please stand up, sir.
There you go. And so she got triggered at that, and then she gave him 180 days. Now here is Officer Bork from the Nevada Police Department. Here's what triggered him. A D word triggered Bork.
Officer in the United States. All right. Please stand up, sir.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point too, Bob Burden. He said it's completely irrelevant, and it is. It's let's say it was Chille's motivation to be provocative, to be a provocateur, and to provoke police to act so he could get YouTube views. He's got a free speech right to do that. He's got a right under freedom of press to do that, to be provocative. And it's completely irrelevant whether you call it has no bearing on the case that you think the cops in the courtroom are pigs. No bearing at all. And it's provable. You can prove that they're pigs. A pig is just the synonym for tyrant. You're just being a tyrant. You're being a hater. How about this? Instead of tyrant, you are being a hater and despiser of liberty, which means you're a hater and despiser of the life that could take advantage of liberty. And don't we all want to take advantage of and enjoy the benefits of liberty? Yes, absolutely, we do. So Chille's out there not harming anybody. And obviously, look at the face of the person in the car right here. She is absolutely not scared. Well, the fear factor of the driver was brought up in court, which is absolutely irrelevant because you could tell on her face and how she was interacting with Chille initially that she wasn't scared at all. She was having a conversation with him. And the cop comes out of his car going, "This is my traffic stop. Oh, I'm the king here. This is my domain." Really? Huh. Didn't know that.
I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go.
And right after that, that's all. It wasn't even a second, guy. Get in your car, little doggy, and now he starts coming at Chille.
See her. You're being detained right now. Okay,
and they say it's not about speech and it's not about the camera when that's exactly what it's about. I'm going to leave the link again. If you guys want to support Chille, I've demonstrated clearly, and this is supposedly what he went to jail for. This is his crime, guys. I'm going to play it back to demonstrate to you the supposed crime that Chille committed that landed him a half a year in jail.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay,
I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
okay. And did he obey those orders?
No, he did not.
Yes, he
I
did.
don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel. So
You already are.
great.
You already are. He's a pig.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay. All right, Mr. DeCastro, please stand. The problem with the argument that your attorney makes is it completely fails to consider the safety of the officer and the safety of the driver. The officer doesn't know who you are, and the driver doesn't know who you are. And you don't have any right to interfere with that officer doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue a ticket to this driver. And you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help, you know. You didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film, it's fine, all right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer. I hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 1, 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 2, to run consecutive for a total of 180 days in custody. Thank you.
I just put the GoFundMe in the chat again. Let's see if we can't get him up to this goal, guys. I really appreciate it. The goal is $25,000. He needs a good lawyer. He needs to get out so that he can be about the work of pushing back the tides of tyranny and start letting freedom ring.